Welcome back to the Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid, Capital Markets Analyst and host of your Cannabis Business Podcast. So springtime, we're going to be doing some more podcasts outside. So if you hear the dogs barking or some birds chirping, that's just the sponsors giving them their message. All right, starting with number 10, Champion Brands announced it entered into a definitive agreement to acquire 100% of AltMed Capital Corp, Horizon Marijuana Life Science Index, and Horizon US Marijuana Index ETF. We've got our own cannabis index and did a podcast recently about the difference between using artificial intelligence and not. So if you bought and held, you had a negative almost 30% return versus having a return on investment of almost 50% using artificial intelligence. So if you haven't seen that, I'll try to remember to leave a link in the show notes. Number 8 is thanks to recent advancements in psychedelic medicine, there's a renewed hope and optimism surrounding the deadly opioid epidemic, as there's some companies that try to use psychedelic medicine to end the opioid epidemic once and for all. Number 7 is CanTrust confirms delisting from the New York Stock Exchange and the Toronto Stock Exchange. The delisting, which was previously anticipated after a company obtained creditor protection, is now official. So this is one of the first major firms that have been delisted, and generally the requirements, the easiest one to see is dollar price. So anything that's below $3 is considered a penny stock, and so you're going to see Aurora do a 12-to-1 reverse split. So going from 80 cents to $11 or whatever is really just going to give short sellers an opportunity to drive that stock down another 80%. At which point it's going to make sense for a hostile takeover from some corporate company wanting to get into the cannabis space. So that's my anticipation that you'll see in the news sooner or later. Number 6 on the list, Trulieve reports a fourth quarter revenue reaffirming 2020 guidelines despite the pandemic. Their earnings this week for the fourth quarter of fiscal year 2019 had a revenue of $252.8 million. That's up 145% year over year. Number 5 on the list is that Green Thumb has a strong balance sheet. The Green Thumb is a U.S. multi-state operator, and it's outperforming its peers in a tough market condition. Number 4 might be the most interesting story on this list, that there's 3 ways the cannabis industry will come out stronger from this pandemic. Number 1 is that there's going to be more people that use cannabis than before. You can see that in France and Greenland that both ban the sale of alcohol. And we're seeing that more and more with actually alcohol being limited or not even available for sale, whereas cannabis is an essential business. Number 2 on that list is that it's getting rid of the pretenders. There were a lot of pretenders in this business, especially CBD. There were so many middlemen CBD companies. Those guys just need to get out of the way. And then number 3 on that list is curbside and delivery. Obviously with social distancing, it's going to make a huge impact. So probably one of the biggest takeaways from this pandemic is going to be the consumer preference, I think, for at least, if not delivery. You don't have that, as Washington State doesn't have that as an opportunity yet. You are going to see a lot of pre-orders, if not enticed by steep discounts. Like today, we're seeing 55% off purchases made with online discounts for Washington State. That's at Uncle Ike's discount store. And so I think we'll see a lot more of that delivery and online order. All right, top 3 news stories of the week. Number 3, there's a couple Canadian companies that are expected to be profitable in 2021. That includes Organogram, Afria, MediPharm, and Valens. Number 2 is Trulieve Cannabis is an industry leader according to Beacon Securities. And number 1 on the list, the DEA deschedules Epidiolex. So GW Pharma's CBD epilepsy drug is no longer a controlled substance. So that's going to be interesting to have a synthetic THC product that is non-Schedule 1. So hopefully the real thing will follow suit. If you have Canada and Mexico creating that FOMO, it's just going to speed things up even more. But we're going to have to wait to find out. So with that, we're going to roll this one up. I'm Josh Kincaid. This is the Talking Hedge. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or don't. And I'm out.